Hi guys, this is your girl Wakeji Kamore and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. We are currently going through the book of First Kings, and today we are going to be covering chapter 14, which I'm going to be reading from the NLT version, and then I'm going to share my lessons at the end of the chapter. So kindly stay with me. If you're here for the very first time, please remember to subscribe, and also remember to share this with someone else and hit the notification bell so that you never miss any other recording that goes up. Right. Again, the book of Kings is a book about kings. It's about the kings that reigned over the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, which is Israel and Judah. So we're just learning about the kings, what it is that they did, were they good, how did they end up being kings, who are they, how long did they become, were they king? It's just basically like a history of those kings. So it says, at this time, Jeroboam's son, Ahijah, became very sick. Please remember, Jeroboam is the king who is currently reigning in the northern kingdom, which is Israel. There is the Israel side. And then on the other side, we have Ahijah, because who is this guy? Rehoboam already died, and Ahijah, the son, became the king. All right, so Jeroboam told his wife, disguise yourself so that no one will recognize you as my wife. Then go to the prophet Ahijah at Shiloh, the man who told me I would become king. Take him a gift of 10 loaves of bread, some cakes, and a jar of honey, and ask him what will happen to the boy. So Jeroboam's wife went to Ahijah's home in Shiloh. He was an old man now and could no longer see. But the Lord had told Ahijah, Jeroboam's wife will come here, pretending to be someone else. She will ask you about her son, for he is very sick. Give her the answer I give you. So when Ahijah heard her footstep at the door, he called out, Come in, wife of Jeroboam. Why are you pretending to be someone else? Then he told her, I have bad news for you. Give your husband Jeroboam this message from the Lord, the God of Israel. I promoted you from the ranks of the common man and made you ruler over my people Israel. I ripped the kingdom away from the family of David and gave it to you. But you have not been like my servant David, who obeyed my commands and followed me with all his heart and always did what I wanted. You have done more evil than all who lived before you. You have made other gods for yourself and have made me furious with your gold calves. And since you have turned your back on me, I will bring disaster on your dynasty and will destroy every one of your male descendants, slaves and free alike. Slaves and free alike anywhere in Israel. I will burn up your royal dynasty as one burns up trash until it's all gone. The members of Jeroboam's family who die in the city will be eaten by dogs, and those who die in the fields will be eaten by vultures. I, the Lord, have spoken. Then Ahijah said to Jeroboam's wife, Go on home, and when you enter the city, the child will die. All Israel will mourn for him and bury him. He is the only member of your family who will have a proper burial. For this child is the only good thing that the Lord God of Israel sees in the entire family of Jeroboam. In addition, the Lord will raise up a king over Israel who will destroy the family of Jeroboam. This will happen today, even now. Then the Lord will shake Israel like a reed whipped about in a stream. He will uproot the people of Israel from this good land, and he gave their ancestors, and will scatter them beyond the Euphrates rivers. For they have angered the Lord with the Asherah poles they have set up for worship. He will abandon Israel because Jeroboam sinned and made Israel sin along with him. So Jeroboam's wife returned to Tirzah, and the child died just as she walked through the door of her home. And all Israel buried him and mourned for him, as the Lord had promised through the prophet Ahijah. The rest of the events in Jeroboam's reign, including all his wars and how he ruled, are recorded in the book of history of the kings of Israel. Jeroboam reigned in Israel for 22 years. When Jeroboam died, his son Nadab became the next king. Meanwhile, let's go back to Judah. This is Israel, so let's go back to Judah. Meanwhile, Rehoboam, son of Solomon, was king in Judah. He was 41 years old when he became king, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city that the Lord had chosen from among all the tribes of Israel as a place of honor for his name. Rehoboam's mother was Naamah, a Ammonite woman. During Rehoboam's reign, the people of Judah did what was evil in the Lord's sight, provoking his anger with their sins, for it was even worse than that of their ancestors. For they also built for themselves pagan shrines and set up sacred pillars and Asherah poles on every high hill and under every green tree. What? There were even male and female shrines prostitutes throughout the land. The people imitated the detestable practices of the pagan nations that the Lord had driven from the land ahead of the Israelites. In the 5th year of King Rehoboam's reign, King Shishak of Egypt came up and attacked Jerusalem. He ransacked the treasuries of the Lord's temple and the royal place, and he stole everything, including the gold shields that Solomon had made. Whoa, you guys remember all those gold shields, everything that Solomon had made and put in the temple? Now, the king of Egypt has come and stolen everything. King Rehoboam later replaced them with bronze shields. This guy couldn't even afford gold. He couldn't even afford silver. Alikuwa anaweka hizo vitu za bronze. Imagine. What are those now? He replaced them with bronze shields as substitutes, and he entrusted them to the care of the commander of the guards who protected the entrance of the royal place. Whenever the king went to the temple of the Lord, the guards would also take the shields and return them to the guard room. The rest of the events in Rehoboam's reign and everything he did are recorded in the book of history of kings of Judah. There was constant war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam. When Rehoboam died, he was buried among his ancestors in the city of David. His mother was Naamah, an Ammonite woman. Then his son Ahijah became the next king. Wow. All right, that is the end of that chapter. So what is happening in this chapter? First, we see Jeroboam's son is sick. Jeroboam's wife visits Prophet Ahijah disguised, but the prophet already knew that she was coming, and he gave a prophecy against Jeroboam's family because of the disobedience that Jeroboam had done. I feel like this one for Jeroboam was personal for God, because I feel when God says, yani wewe nilikutoa huko kwa commoners, yani you are not even in the line of David, and then I tore this kingdom into two, and I gave you all, like, most of the tribes for you to rule. I removed you from the fact that you are not even anywhere close to the lineage of David. Nikakutoa huko kwa commoners, nikakufanya ukuwe king, nikakupatia 12 tribes, and then wewe ndio unaenda like you have Asherah poles everywhere. You're the one who now has created like gold calves for people to worship. I felt like this is personal. This was really personal for God. God was like, dude, I gave you everything on a silver platter. You didn't have to kill anybody. You didn't have to, like I gave you this thing on a silver platter, and then this is the thing that you went and did. So one of the things that I have learned is that, number one, God will remain faithful. But sometimes when we are unfaithful, God will take this away. We'll be like, no, you cannot continue in your disobedience and Mungu amenyamaza tu hivyo, he's not doing anything. That is not going to happen. Number two is that leadership impacts the spiritual climate of the place that the person is leading. If you're leading even in your workplace, if you're a leader in even if you're a small group, please realize that your leadership, who you choose to worship, and even just your leadership impacts the spiritual climate of the group that you're leading. Now, imagine, unfortunately, if it's a whole country and you're the one leading them to devil worship, you're the one leading them to idol worship, you're the one leading them to death, you're the ones really leading them to what? Like, honestly, leadership is a great opportunity to impact the spiritual climate of the people that you're leading. Number two, idol worship is detestable before God. Yani, God can't stand idol worship. Him is like, imagine, this is where he draws the line. It's like, nah. Idol worship is a no, and a no to God. So ask yourself, is there anything or anyone in your life that has a higher regard or higher priority in your life than the relationship that you have with God? Because that is right there is what idol worship is. Ask yourself, is there anything or anyone that you have given a higher priority or a higher regard more than the relationship that you have with God, because God detests idol worship. This is your girl Wakeji Kamore, and this has been Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. See you tomorrow.